Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about the best methods to teach your students pronunciation in your ESL classroom. So if this is something that you are interested in, then definitely keep watching. Alright guys, so pronunciation is something a lot of students struggle with, and a lot of teachers struggle with how to correct their pronunciation and what can you do in class to help them besides repetition. Repetition is the thing that most people will tell you to do to improve your pronunciation, and yes, that's correct. It does help, it is very helpful, but there are also some other exercises that you can use that can also be a lot more engaging for your students. um, it's always very good when you have an exercise or you have an article or whatever your lesson is, and you're providing vocabulary or phrases to your student, that you read it for them so that they can hear how to pronounce it correctly. And if they are mispronouncing it, you need to stop them and now start to work with them so that they can get it right. Now, repetition is good. Like I said, I say the word, they repeat it, I say it again, they repeat it, and so on and so forth. However, the one thing that you do need to understand when teaching a student pronunciation is that your mouth and your tongue, these are muscles, okay? And the way that you are used to speaking, your accent, the sounds that you make come from the way your tongue is positioned in your mouth and the way your mouth is shaped, right? Whether it's an O, whether it's like a smile, whether your teeth are together, whether your tongue is between your teeth, whether your tongue is at the back of the mouth, at the front of the mouth. All of this influences pronunciation, okay? So that's also something to explain to your students, that for pronunciation you need regular practice because you are now exercising a muscle the same way you would in gym. You need to constantly work on it because it's a new movement in your mouth that you're not used to. And so this is something that they do need to understand. It's not something that they will get overnight and remember overnight, okay? So some of the things that you can use are phonetic exercises, okay? You can create your own, or there are some places on the internet where you can sign up, for example, and they provide you with like a list of these exercises that you can use with your students. The other thing that I like is tongue twisters. So again, you could create your own, right? And you could use any topic, but tongue twisters are really, really good because you need to be really, really good with your pronunciation to do this, and you don't want to choose a very long or very difficult tongue twister. Something that is appropriate for your students' level of pronunciation. Okay, if they have terrible pronunciation, you don't want to give them something where it's not even going to sound like English at the end of that sentence. So you also need to realize and understand your students' level, and then appropriately assign those tongue twisters. And it can be really fun. It can create an activity that's very interactive and very enjoyable for the student. Then the last tip that I have is using something called minimal pairs. So if your student is struggling with a sound, especially where they are confusing two sounds, I have a student who confuses P and B. So when he says B, it sounds like he's saying P, and this is a very, very difficult sound that we are continuously working on, right? And it's very important to identify these problems that they have, and you could use minimal pairs in order to start correcting this, that they can see the difference. So for example, minimal pairs are these words that have a similar sound, but obviously, for example, bear has the B sound, and then pear has the P sound. Okay, so those are minimal pairs. So you can use that if they are confusing those two letters, or if they need practice with those sounds, for example, because it's important. For example, this student, he will say, if he wants to say, I want to be a teacher, it sounds like he says, I want to be a teacher. So that can be very confusing, okay, and it can be very frustrating for him as well. So it's important to identify these things and find solutions to work on it with your students. And it does take time. So hopefully you found these tips and this information useful. But if any of you have any more information, any more tips or tricks that you can use, please leave it in the comments below so that all of us can benefit from this information. And thank you guys once again for subscribing, for interacting, for watching my videos. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one.